The new channel. See the new. The new channel. See the new. The views, opinions, and insights expressed in the following show are those of the hosts, producers, guests, and viewers. They do not necessarily reflect the position of the channel. Viewer discretion is advised.
Welcome to the new channel, here to help you see the new you. Magandang tanghali po. Marahay na pangugtuan. This is Jesse Rebustillo, your host in the HR Hotline. Welcome back to the HR Hotline. Today, our topic is Renew, Restart, Revitalize HR Teams. It's a wonderful day to discuss this. Importante po to, now especially that we are working remotely. Ang mahirap if the HR team is not buo, hindi uniform. So what is the HR team? It's actually the department of the human resources. Dati po yan personnel department. Ang iba po, ibang tinatawag niyan, people management, HR team. And what are this? Ito po yung nag-handle ng staffing. So when it's staffing, that goes into the talent management process of acquisition down to onboarding. Then about compensation administration. Yan po ang maira. Kasi this is very routine and regular, especially if you are not yet using systems. Yung buong HR may oras, yan na lang ang ginagawa. Payroll, timekeeping and payroll. Nakalimutan yung una, which is staffing. Pero may oras naman, lahat. Everything, whole day, nag-i-interview. I know that. I have students in my PMAP certification courses. And when I ask them what they do the whole day, they are sitting, interviewing people. After that po, yung safety. Before, wala. It was not actually the focus. Yung OS, Occupational Safety and Health, they just ask somebody to take a course at DOLE. Now that we have this pandemic, that person is a frontliner, is the key person. So staffing, compensation, the safety, do not forget this. Development, which is why training, learning and development is with HR. Then employee relations, and if you have a union, labor relations. So these are the areas, and sometimes these are also the structure, functional structure of an HR group, an HR department that provides what we call the definition taking care of people. The problem there is if these are extremes, and I knew that before when I was a, a moderator or a host of PMAP, that's the People Management Association of the Philippines Summit. I remember I did this in Visayas and I did this in the North. I asked them, who are the one-man team HR here? Would you believe that in a crowd of 300, there can be around 60, 70 HR who are lonesome? So I gave them tokens. Just imagine, do the core, the full gamut, the varied HR activities done by one person. Ang mahirap nun, kung bipolar na yung tao, that 1 week siyang payroll, 1 week siyang training. Kaya nga sabi ko, training should be done by HR consultants like us. You get it from the subject matter expert. Just imagine, you're a lone HR, ikaw pa nag-training, ikaw pa nag-compute ng salaries, kasi wala kang system, ay nako, i-enroll mo na yan po, i-register mo na. Ikaw pa rin yung nag-check ng mga test. Just imagine. And the extremes. There are companies na ang laki po ng HR, the BPOs. I remember before, I will not mention the name, there is a telco, yung nuumpan-umpa. I applied when I was still around in the 20s. You know, I found out big. I am a consultant of an agricultural organization down south. Their HR is one big floor. There is I was actually engaged with their learning and development team. There were around 25, and their compensation is around 50. You can just imagine that. But of course, it's our big, big. Now the question is, what will happen if this department or this group is not a team? And you know that talents management procedures, the areas of HR are interrelated. Because you're dealing with one talent, from sourcing, from womb to termination, or his retirement, or his exit. So you are dealing with one talent, and it is interrelated. So just imagine if there are silos in that department. And it cannot be the factory type wherein I remember there was a summit in Cebu wherein it was discussed that workplaces, it was advised that HR must be in a hub, one table facing each other, so that communication between the HR persons will be easier. But you know, I don't think it will now be good while we're having this pandemic. I just learned yesterday, I'm doing consultancy with companies, they were asking me if they're going to put plastic separators from one employee to another. But I told them it would be better if you open the windows rather than using the air conditioner, and then refrain from those separators because the air will just be moving around. It has to be properly ventilated. But just look at that. Just imagine if uh, uh, the, 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 the team is not anymore talking, especially if this will be some employee engagement problems. Much more when I mentioned that you are now working remotely. Just imagine, o ito, chismis ito. Before COVID, may alitan kayo. You are in HR. So you're the one in charge of, say, training. You didn't like the person in charge of, say, succession planning or performance management. Now, you're working remotely. Now, you're supposed to be in Zoom meetings. Now, you are in one screen. So that will be the problem. Now, we are going to discuss this with somebody. I invited somebody for our second segment of this program. He also has a live streaming every Sunday. One time nag-stalk ako doon. Very, very engaging. And I like that. This is to be a collaboration. HR people who are practitioners and professionals who are listening, dapat ano po tayo, maumay ng information. Wag po tayo wag po tayo magtampo sa information. Last Tuesday, our guest was Congressman Mark. And that was the topic that we discussed. That you have to be updated, that you have to be appraised of situations, of HR concerns. Next, this coming Saturday, our guest is none other than Yusek Benjo Venavides. I want you to be with me. Be my lunch date on Saturday. Because we are going to ask him of how we are going to really abide with a series of um, ad, ad, department orders and advisories. Now, why did I mention that? Because that is related to what we are discussing now. Just imagine you are the HR in charge of employee relations and you're the one dealing with Dole. Then you're the one, again, also the HR in charge of reporting. But you are not talking to each other. You are not actually synchronized. So that will be a problem. So the HR team must be one to actually get it from we heal as one, we recover as one. So it is needed that everybody in charge of taking the employees in an organization at this time, you are a team. Okay, so let's have the first announcements in this program. The program has segments. Yes, we have the big picture. The big picture is actually from Mondays to Fridays at 7 p.m. The followers are really, really that big. And it's so engaging, very light. It might be during your uh, dinner or after dinner. And of course, my HR hotline. And we have from Tuesdays and Thursdays, I business with Dr. Mike and Bert. Then we have the fourth project. It's on Wednesdays and Saturdays at 7 p.m. Oh, this is before actually my show. U-turn. Your U-turn with Carmine. It's actually on Mondays and Thursdays. And we have the home buyer by Dante Salamat. I also watch it. Very, very engaged. Oh, this is fun. The puppet stories of Wan Lu. And then the TNC, that's the new channel original. And that's on Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays at 9:30. If you see me at least reading what is posted, kasi ang lolo medyo 64 years old na po. Okay, so we are now in the second portion and we invited a special guest. I like him. You know, at the time that I was PIMA president, he was, he founded and he was the president now of a big HR group. They are 220 strong. And you know, every time that they invite me, because this person is a friend, I go and do the best that I can. I remember, I think it was tatlong beses na. He is from PUP, Polytechnic, University of the Philippines. He is also a graduate of Zolair, yun, industrial relations. He is a multi-awarded person. I think that he's very young and he has a lot of certifications. Ang dami niyang letters after his name. He is now working as one of the top, as an executive of a BPO. As I mentioned, he is a, the founder and the president of the Philippine HR Group. He is a coach, a speaker, and an educator. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome my friend, Coach Darwin Rivers. Yeah.
Hi, Sir Jess. Good afternoon, and good
Good
afternoon to
afternoon. Yes, I will not ask you your age, but you know, with all the achievements that you have, it's actually something that is really napakalaki. Despite you're so young still. Diba? Eh, teka no, matanong ko nga, kasi marami nagtatanong, ano ba yung family name mo na Rivers? Talagang Rivers ba yan?
yes, it is Rivers, Sir Jess.
Talaga.
That's
Ano ba yan? American? Is that Australian? Is that, ano? Tawag dito? UK? Is that English? Ano ba yan?
it's American. It's an American last name.
I see. O yun, sa mga nagtatanong doon, na marami nagtatanong kung talagang ang Darwin Rivers, totoong Rivers, totoo po. Totoo po. Totoo po na he is Darwin Rivers. Well, anyway, we're going to discuss here about the HR team. Yeah. And I'm very sure, Coach Darwin, you are the best person to to expound and explain to us. So let's this one foundation ito. Kung hindi natin matapos, you'll come back. Ha? Promise me. So ang
Sure po.
foundation muna. Ang foundation muna. Ang first question ko is, what is actually, what does an HR team do? Sige nga, very basic, pero dapat maklear. Kasi you know, we also have here listeners, what viewers who have actually yung mga small and medium, they may not have HR. So
Mhm.
please tell us, what is actually an HR team do?
Okay. Sa lahat po ng kada nanonood at nakikinig, maraming salamat po sa pag-invite, Sir Jess. With regards to the question of what does HR does or what is our responsibility in the organization. Basically, we do two things. We are a transactional department. When we say transactional department, we do all the support for all the businesses and departments. When we say support, of course, payroll, engagement, and whatnot. And then meron tayong bago, yung strategic. So it's really both transactional and strategic processes of the organization. HR is, as we all know, sinasabi nga, HR is the heart of the company. We're also the reason um, of the organization. Basically, we are a bridge and a balance between the employer and the employees.
Okay, that's good. By the way, past President Obet Policarpio is watching us. Pel Bautista from Bulacan is watching us. Olin Lee from the Philippine Society for Talent Development is watching us. Pearly Mangkoy of the People Management Association of the Philippines is watching us. Jamie is watching us from Naga. And we have lots of viewers at Coach Darwin. So thank you for telling us that there are transactions and then the transactional and the other one is actually the taking care,
Strategic.
the behavioral. Okay, so that's it. And then I mentioned earlier that is from acquisition, onboarding down to succession planning, which is actually and then down up to the exit. Now let us jump. So you have now a team. It can be a lonesome team or it can be a seven member, one person doing a function, or it can be as big as your team that can be of hundreds of people doing HR work. So the first question, now that we're in the pandemic, how can we restart, then later on renew and revitalize? Please
Naku,
tell us.
Naku, napaka-interesting na topic yan, Sir Jess. Actually, month ago, I was interviewed by Philippine Star, and the topic that they had for me is about what does HR does post-pandemic. Kasi ngayon, di ba, we're more than 100 days after the lockdown, and it's been like 7 months na from the time that the COVID has been going around globally. It's a global problem, and what we learn about it is that we are in a state of VUCA. And we say VUCA, it's the situation is very volatile. It's very uncertain. There is complexity and ambiguity in what's happening right now. And this is not only in the business, but primarily also in HR. Napaka lawak talaga ng nagawa ng COVID pandemic na to. Na ang start kasi natin ngayon is we need to ask ourselves, is our existing processes, policies, procedures, angkop pa ba sa new normal na tinatawag? Kasi di ba merong sinasabi na new normal or bagong state or paraan kung saan makikipag-ugnayan ang manggagawa sa
Okay.
sa kanyang kumpanya. So napaka laking issue nga ito, and I think it's HR should be in the forefront of the business in terms of uh, papaano makakasabay or makaka-adapt ang organization at ang business sa tinatawag na new normal. So, just also to share, Sir Jess, ano-ano ba nga yung mga sinasabi natin na uh, epekto ng pandemic na to sa ating industriya, sa HR department. A few months ago, last April, nagkaroon kasi ng Global HR Forum. And one of the things that we discovered about it, o yung resulta ng forum na to with more than 2,000 global HR leaders, is that na-identify nila ano ba yung epekto ng pandemic na to sa mga businesses. Doon mo tayo sa businesses kasi total, ang HR sumusuporta sa businesses, di po ba? So nalaman nila na unang-una, ang health and wellness ng employees dapat tayo nakatutok. Pangalawa, dapat meron tayong concept ng open floor plans. Sinasabi rin dun sa uh, dun sa engagement na yun is kailangan meron tayong remote work or work from home is really something doable. Kasi di ba, before, remote work or work from home is something na very, very impossible or kumbaga hindi kaagad inaalaw ng mga companies. Pero ngayon, this is something part of the new normal. Um, Ayon din sa pagpupulong na yon, um, culture of hygiene is a must and in the workplace. And of course, we have to prepare for the worst. We
Yes, yes, yes.
with our employees. We have to invest in technology and we have to have a plan B. When we say plan B, ano yun? Kasi ito yung tinatawag na business recovery plan o yung ano ba yung plano ng kumpanya or ng department pag may mga nangyayaring krisis sa tulad nito. And
Yep, yep, yep.
and and then sinasabi rin na at the onset, community service is really very important also para sa mga kumpanya. Kasi we
Yeah.
are part of a uh, global community. And even if you're part of a public or private company, you still need to do your best to to make sure that you contribute to that. Now,
Okay.
mhm.
Yeah, thank you for giving us that dami. So kung ikaw ay HR, you will realize that there are a lot of things to do to just start and renew what you're supposed to do. Pero let's go back. I was listening to you. Yung VUCA, I have a module for that in my webinars. Alam mo, nagdagdag ako dyan, Darwin. Nagdagdag ako. It's D. It's now for Mr. Rebustillo, it's D. VUCAD. And you know the D is driven. Di ba?
Mm,
VUCA is ano, di ba? Volatility,
certain
uncertainty, complexity,
complexity,
and
ambiguity.
ambiguity. I added driven. And at yung mga di ba, the antidotes are vision, di ba? And then, yeah, ang antidote doon sa driven, digital. So the
Mhm,
answer that it has to be driven digital. That is why I mentioned it. Kasi yun nga, when you are in the HR team, di ba? Yung you graduated from Sol Air o talagang psychology major ka. So you really have to be in the HR. Ang mahirap nito, nag-aral ka ng pagkapare, maraming ganun yan, seminaryo, lumabas sa seminaryo, pumasok sa HR. Ang mas mahirap ninyo to, para bang ikaw yung, ang alam ko, I will mention her name, si Penny Bongato, chemistry graduate, or iba yung natapos mo, you are in the HR team, paano ka maging driven? Yung tap na sinabi ni Coach Marvin Darwin sa atin. So, the answer nga, sinagot niya rin kanina. You have to be digital. You have to be digital. Kasi, just imagine yung dapat nga, ano kaya ang umpisang uunahin doon? Di ba? Siyempre, you must have the policies and the guidelines for the work from home arrangement. Tapos titingnan mo kung how they are going to have their salaries on time. And then you have to look into their mental health. Coach Darwin, tell us, say, marami pa ngayon na nasa GCQ and ECQ. And then they are still working remotely. Ano po ang top 3 or top 5 na gagawin ng isang HR na medyo nagta-transition pa lang ngayon? I know, sa iyong organization, you're actually in place na. Maraming
correct.
organizations in place. But I know there are lots, mga estudyante ko yan, that siya lang ang pumupunta o ginagawa lang yung payroll but hindi pa talaga in place kasi they're still on working, a flexible working arrangement. Ano po ang top 3 or top 5 things to do so that they can restart or revitalize HR and the whole organization? Can you tell us from the what you told us earlier? Ano po ang
Okay.
yung yes, Coach Darwin.
Okay. Um, uh, just to just to share to everyone, in my organization, we are actually 100% work from home right now, and
Oh,
the only reason why we go to the office is because we have a certain skeletal team that have to look into the facilities part of the company who have to take care of of our facilities. Now, in terms of paano ba kami nag-transition from working fully on site and then we have to transition hundreds of employees, almost thousands of employees, to a
Wow,
work
oh,
from
wow.
home setup. So
Mm,
what happened is we already have kasi a plan in place
mhm.
prior to all of these. We have to make sure that our systems is ready, our policies are able to adapt to the new setup. And then yung mga processes natin kasi if I would remember nung mga time na bago pa lang yung lockdown surges, napakarami mga HR people na nagsasabi na nahihirapan po kami dahil most of our files nasa office. Hindi po kami
Yes,
makalabas
yes.
kasi naka-lockdown. Though this is really a problem. So dapat based on that experience kasi ako naniniwala ako na an experience learned should be an experience shared, di ba? So
Sure, sure.
based on our
Same here.
experience, based on our experience na nalaman na natin na dapat lahat ng files ng HR should be digital. Dapat hindi lang siya dapat hard copy, kundi dapat ang mga HR people should have access to all the information online. And in our end, most of our, I mean, 100% of our files, of our employee files, processes and policies can actually be accessed anywhere, anytime. So this is something that ayun nga yung reason eh, 'di ba? Ang sabi ng mga ng mga global HR leaders, really invest in technology. We need to invest on one, investing on technology, having the right tools uh, in our organization. And then second, teaching people how to use technology. Kasi minsan
Right.
mahirap
I
din na
like that.
okay, nag-invest ka nga ng napakalaking uh, pera sa isang bagong tool or processes, pero yung mga tao mo naman, yung mga at hindi lang to HR, those who are frontline supervisors and managers, kailangan alam din nila paano gagamitin yung systems and tools na to. So you have to really invest on technology, and you really have to invest on teaching people how to use technology. Um,
Ay nako, Coach Marvin. So that means, ang pagsisi kasi sa huli.
mm-mm.
That means dapat may HRIS na sila. And what is this HRIS? Can you tell us, so doon sa hindi nakakaano, medyo walang idea ng HRIS, can you tell us? Kasi yun yung sinasabi mo ngayon.
Um, HRIS is really human resource information system wherein lahat
Yes.
ng lahat ng data ng isang empleyado, 'di ba normally meron tayong 201 file ng mga empleyado natin na from the job offer, contract, lahat ng documents na na nagre-reflect sa kanilang pagiging empleyado ng isang kumpanya nandoon sa 201 file. Now, napakaraming ways para i-digitize yung HRIS. Napakaraming systems actually na available in the market. Meron tayong Workday, meron tayong Taleo, and whatnot. Pero kung part ka ng isang small to medium enterprise, meron naman mga vendor na nagbibigay ng either free or cost-effective na mga tools with regards to HRIS. Ang sinasabi ko lang is hindi lang dapat physical yung mga documents ng mga empleyado.
Right, right.
Hindi lang dapat nasa Excel form or nasa computer mo kasi ang
Correct.
sinasabi ng mga
Correct.
ang sinasabi ng mga
Correct.
ah, nakausap kong HR, "Sir, yung file, naka-file naman po yung ano namin, yung sa mga data ng employee, pero hindi po namin ma-access." That's actually the point.
Right.
Yung file niyo nasa PC niyo lang at dahil lockdown hindi kayo makapunta sa ano niyo, sa office. So dapat those information should be readily available to you anytime, anywhere. You can use cloud. You can put it on a server where you can really access it. Kaya nga
And then
importante na nag-invest.
that includes the other systems, yung performance management,
Performance
yung
management,
evaluation.
policies and
Yeah.
procedures should also be there. Um,
Yeah.
and because of what's happening right now, um, from the nabago tayo lahat eh. The way that we source and hire people are also online. Um, um, in my organization, all of my recruiters are sourcing, interviewing people, and evaluating candidates online. In terms of
Oh,
we schedule them uh, webinar interviews, we schedule them panel interviews uh, to our hiring managers, and then even onboarding them is also online. So hindi na
so ang
kailangan ng
problem, so Coach Darwin, ang unang problema is actually um, training and orienting the people in HR to adapt to this new ways of doing work. Just imagine kung marunong ka lang mag face-to-face interview, ngayon gagamit ka na ng online interviews and that will be a paradigm shift, a mindset shift, a
agree, agree.
skill, a skill, a skill set shift. Yeah.
And
So, how did you do that? How did you do it sa inyo?
so
Yung para
we
bang yung, sige po,
so
sige,
so
sige.
prior to that, we already train our people na our recruiters are already trained in terms of making sure that alam nila kung paano mag-interview ng tao at mag-assess ng tao online or using virtual conferences. And also, yung mga hiring managers, tinuruan namin sila kung paano mag-assess ng tao um, using the virtual platforms. All of our tests are also online. So bago pa lang ma-schedule ang isang applicant dun sa hiring manager, nakapag-register na siya sa sa workday ng aming kumpanya. And then what we did is yung mga assessments niya, assessment scores niya, results ng mga exam which is actually online, ando dun na. So makikita nung hiring manager, ito yung score niya sa cognitive evaluation, ito yung evaluation, ito yung inputs ng
Yes,
talent
yes,
acquisition team. And then i-input
yes,
lang nung hiring manager kung ano yung kanyang input during the
yes.
time na nagkaroon siya ng interaction na dun sa candidate. And even
You
from
mentioned,
mhm.
yes, yes. And even from, yeah, yeah, please continue. Sorry for cutting
and
you. And
and and even giving the job offer and giving the employment contract, we don't ask people to go to our office anymore. We send them the job offer through through email. We explain the job offer via virtual platform. If they agree, they just sign it, send us a digital copy, the signed digital copy of the job offer, and then we schedule them for onboarding. Onboarding is
wow,
also done through through online. We already have pre-recorded videos of all the processes in terms of discussion about the payroll process, discussion about company policies and procedures, discussion about what are the employee engagement, talent management, and whatnot. Lahat yon naka-record na. And if there are questions, there is an available HR person that they can interact with and chat.
okay. Okay, Coach Darwin, that is very nice. Because I heard that you're using, ano ba yun, day?
Our day,
Your
yeah,
work day. Pero paano yung mga wala? Yung paano yung wala, it's actually a challenge and it will be an inspiration that we have to be innovative. So that means yung sinabi mo na in the onboarding, there can be videos. You can do that. You can do
correct.
that. Mag-video ka. You don't need actually a system, an expensive system to do that. So from naalala ko kasi I'm also teaching that in PMAP, yung uh, interviewing, yung STAR, yung, yung, yung ano ba yon, yung competency-based interviewing, yung assessment. Madali po yung gawin. Ang dali-dali sinasabi ni Coach nakikinig ako, madali po yung gawin. Pero ang mahirap niyang Coach Darwin, I'm sure you will agree with me, yung doon sa nag interview yung how will you assess, di ba? I've noticed, I've viewed one, mahilig tayo niyang dalawa. There was a recent beauty contest that was online. Di ba? Well and good, 'di ba? Yung assessment. Pero dapat ang tuturuan yung judges. ikaw po, narinig ko si Coach Marvin nagsabi kanina, so the hiring staff, then the hiring manager, kasi nakalahad po yun dun sa, ano yon workday. Pero kung ikaw po, you can do it, you can be innovative, but I think the challenge there will be yung mindset mo how to assess. Kasi hindi mo nga nakikita eh. Now, I remember my first job, Coach Darwin, was in Overseas Employment Development Board. At that time, tinuturuan kami hanggang kuko. Makikita mo kung ang worker is applying for Saudi, no, Nigeria, noon. Kung ang kuko ay sobrang malinis, hindi siya para sa worker. Para siya sa mga staff. Pero naman kung ang dumi-dumi naman na doktor o attorney, malalaman mo. So, hanggang yung tainga tinitingnan, hanggang yung amoy tinitingnan. Pero paano ngayon nga, Coach Darwin, that you are virtual, hindi mo makikita. And besides, malay mo nga, yung he has the applicant has a kodigo down, di ba? Kahit tayo ngayon, we read. So yan po ang challenge. And then we also discuss about that technology. So, yun nga. So, talking of challenges, can you specify to us, ano yung mga challenges ngayon ng isang HR team? Na-mention mo na, pero I would like it to, let's actually emphasize it. Ano ang mga challenges nila ngayon?
Okay.
Ikaw misma, kasi you're a practitioner. You are doing it now. Ikaw muna as the head. You are an executive of a big BPO. Ano ang mga challenges mo ngayon?
I think the challenge, aside from, since we already had the systems and the process in place, one of the challenges that that I've observed in the industry is really having proper communication and or centralized communication. Ang na-realize kasi natin ngayon is that mas effective yung distributed authority with central coordination. And this is actually affect.
Pakirepeat po nun. Pakirepeat nun. Kasi bago yun galing yun sa iyo Distributed authority
with central coordination.
Oy, paradox yun pero magandang concept yan. Ay nako, nakikinig si Femery Kabantak ng PSTD. Nako, ang magandang concept yan. Ay, si PPO Beto, pakirepeat po. Distributed
authority with central coordination.
I like that. So please continue. Ano po yung gustong sabihin niyo?
Kasi based on dun sa na-experience natin ngayon, alam natin na mas may interface or mas nag-reach out yung mga empleyado sa kanilang immediate managers or immediate supervisors. Now, these immediate managers and immediate supervisors, pag hindi sila properly trained, iba-iba yung sinasabi nila sa kanilang mga subordinate. So, yung central messaging or yung central communication na nagagaling sa head office, pagdating doon sa mga frontline supervisors and managers, dahil hindi sila well-trained kung paano i-cascade sa kanila mga teams, nababago yung messaging. Di ba remember, Sir Jess, sa training, meron tayong game na pass the message. And based on that, when you pass the message, iba-iba na yung iba na yung pagkakaintindi. Now,
that's a challenge.
The main purpose of having a central communication is to ensure that the line managers or the supervisors are able to understand what is the message, the central message that corporate office is would like to cascade to the team members, and how will I be able to cascade it clearly talaga sa kung ano yung gustong sabihin ng corporate office. I'll give you a perfect example. Because of the GC, the lockdown, di ba? Bawat regions may kanya-kanyang quarantine na the specification. And I've heard of this company na sinabi sa kanila na pag GCQ, 50% of the employees can already come to work and 50% are still allowed to have a work from home setup or to have a rotational work setup. Now, yung 50% na yun, ang tanong ng mga employee, ano yung 50%? Based ba yon sa headcount mo o based ba yon sa capacity ng site mo? Right? So, ano uh, I always believe that if a message is uh, um, kailangan mo pang interpret ang isang message, ibig sabihin hindi maganda yung cascade mo. So dapat malinaw, direct, clear ang messaging for the people to understand kung ano yung gagawin nila.
A, an announcements to give first, and then this is our second break for the show. Babalik po tayo. Okay? Let's can we have the announcement, please?
We rise as one. Leave the pain behind. For the future is bright. Know that we are here to help you rise again. The new channel. See the new.
Welcome back to HR Hotline. This is now the third segment of the show, and I would like to thank Wills Decena and Associate, our major sponsor for HR Hotline. Actually, they have They are looking for people to join them in their organization. They're actually in Tandang Sora, Quezon City. Even with that we are in the GCQ, or maybe we're going to be ECQ, they're still looking for people from HR supervisors to people in finance, in their operations, engineers, CAD operators, and workers. So if you have time, if you're looking for a job, please search there in the Google or in the FB, Wills Design and Associates. And also, I would like to thank other sponsors. These are my friends. I know who you are. They sent support for this show. Now, while during the announcements, I was looking at my feed, and a lot of my friends are telling me to to broadcast, to announce their webinars. We have to list it. I have to list it. Promise on Saturday, I will have to mention. But I promised Lin Mukhi, or even with our special guest coach, Darwin Rivers, for HR, join association. It is the time that you must be in a group. Join HR group, join PSTD. If you're an employer, be with ECOP, and join PMAP. Be a member. It's the time that you don't have to be an island. Mahirap yon. You need to be updated. Sabi mo, patapos na ba yung pandemic? No. The work is right after this. Di ba yung parang after ng bagyo, kami sa Bicol, after ng baha, ang mas mahirap, maglinis kaya, magayos kaya. So that is the HR job. So we have to be with an association that will guide, tell us, o kahit na lang support. So can we have Coach Darwin? Kasi yan ang ating ma-intrigang portion ngayon. We still have around 10 minutes to go. Coach Darwin, ito ang tanong ko sa iyo kasi this is supposed to be a hotline. Thank you for giving us, alam mo, Bitin, I will invite you again in the next session. Kasi ang dami po pang sasabihin as far as how you are going to restart. Dito siguro, hindi na restart. While you are now trying to institutionalize the new normal. Yan ang topic natin, naisip ko na. Pero may mga problema po, Coach Marvin. Paano ngayon? Kung ikaw yung HR na maarte, actually, nakikinig yung may problema niyan. Bigla na lang nawala yung HR at this time. Yung para bang napakabalat sibuyas. Okay. Ikaw muna, marinig ko sa iyo, may sasabihin din ko after. Ano ang gagawin natin? We are an HR team at mayroong isa nagtampo at nawala. Ano po ang gagawin natin yan, Coach Marvin?
Well, Sir Jess, I think we have to understand that this pandemic, HR people or the HR team per se should know that caring, listening, and empathy are a priority for us to be able to properly engage our people. So we have to know the problem, know the issue, and understand how we can provide assistance or help them. We also have to make sure that we move fast and we come together on a regular basis. The HR team should have a regular cadence wherein we are able to discuss what are the issues arising, what are the challenges arising, and what solutions can we provide. How can we our mindset should really be how can we better serve our employees? How can we provide a good employee experience in this time where there's a lot of anxiety, a lot of stress, a lot of misinformation that is happening?
Yeah, oo nga eh. Pero ang yun nga ang pagsisi sa huli. So, para bang dapat yung HR group, from the start, even pre-COVID, team na sila eh. So, team, dapat mayroon na silang yung ingredients of a team. Can you tell us, while we are having these challenges, what are the team, interventions or efforts? Say, if you are an HR staff or you're an HR supervisor, ano ang advice mo, coach, can you coach us ang anong gagawin natin if you see there are some lapses and there are some problems blocking us as a team? Ano dapat na gawin?
Well, I always believe that leadership matters in terms of the
I
leader
love that.
would always be the reflection of his or her team. Whatever the team is doing, it reflects what kind of leader you are. You should
Very
always,
good.
when you say that you are open to feedback, you really need to be open to feedback. You have to have an open door policy in place. Yung open door policy, dapat talaga, ano yan, hindi lang yan word service. Kailangan yan talagang isinasa katuparan. If you're the head of a team, the head of a department, you have to make sure that you're approachable. You have to make sure that you 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 put the the kung kumbaga yung kapakanan ng mga team members mo. Ano ba yung pangangailangan nila? Saan mo ba sila pwedeng tulungan? You have to reach out to them on a regular basis. Kaya nga 'di ba dapat as leaders, we have to have regular one-on-ones, regular skip level meetings, and then regular team building sessions to our team kasi dun ang sabi mo nga Sir Jess, 'di ba? A team would not be effective if they're not working together. Hindi siya team
Yes.
kung hindi kayo nag-work together. You have to really be cohesive. At
Nako.
sa panahon
Mm.
ngayon na napakaraming nangyayari, napakaraming challenges, you have to act fast. You have to move fast. And for you to be able to act and move fast to provide the necessary services and to ensure that we have a high level of employee engagement, a high level of satisfaction from the employees, you have to make sure that your team is cohesive. You have to make sure that ano na-address mo kung ano man yung mga issues or concerns sa team mo muna. Kasi kung di mo ma-address yung issue sa team mo, how can you support other departments?
Yeah.
How can you be efficient in providing um, strategic and support to your business leaders? How would you be able to make sure that nami-meet mo yung expectations sila in terms of the services that HR is providing?
Right, right. Ang problema niyan kasi that you mentioned team building, the team building now will be on virtual.
Virtual,
Di ba?
correct.
Virtual. So you have so HR now you have to really research, innovate how you're going to have team building activities virtually on remote. Okay, we still have a few minutes to go. Let me ask you. You are the founder and president of a big HR group. So tell us what is up, what's ano bang nangyayari, anong mga plano ang mga ginagawa ng Philippine HR Group. Dati in-invite mo ako magsalita diyan ha, 3 beses na. Okay,
Yes,
tell
yes.
us. Okay,
Um,
how is the group? How is the group?
right now, we just reached 220,000 members of the Philippines HR Group community. So far we are the largest online community of HR and HR aligned professionals. Sa Facebook, we have 221,000. Sa LinkedIn, we are growing community there also in LinkedIn. And what we do is for the past few months that we are under this pandemic, kasi over the past years kasi meron kaming monthly and quarterly learning events eh. Ngayon dahil hindi namin magawa yung public events, what we do is we engage our community by providing them virtual classes, by providing them by supporting webinars, and also we have established the HR Cafe, which is the HR Cafe program every Sunday at 3 p.m. HR Cafe, usapang uh, trabaho, buhay at iba pa, kung saan uh, nagkakaroon kami, nag-invite kami ng mga speakers, ng mga seasoned HR professionals like you, Sir Jess, na
Ay, sabi
kumbaga,
ako dyan ha, iinom ako ng kape dyan. Iinom ako ng kape dyan.
na kung saan nagbabahagi ng mga best practices, updates about what are what are happening right now, and how can we really know how can really help um, not only HRs but also the Filipino professional. Kasi alam mo, Sir Jess, ang main goal talaga ng Philippines HR Group is to advance the Filipino professionals and for us to be globally competitive. That's the reason why
Yeah,
the Philippine
sure.
HR Group has a lot of a partnership with different organizations. Actually, right now we have an ongoing project, and we'll be launching it by next week. This is a project with our leaders of different HR groups across the ASEAN region, and
Wow, wow, that's nice.
this is really more of an outlook for the next 12 months of what's happening or what is expected to happen in the ASEAN region in terms of HR practices. And this is
Good.
very important. Kaya
Thank you for that.
I hope that once that we've launched it on our page, you guys will be able also to participate and help us.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I will always be around. I will always be a collaborator. I insist to be drinking cafe, and then of course share this link to your group so that they can be updated also. Alam mo, I am always with that. That the industry is so big, is so vast. From a paritolo. When I was President Marvin of PMAP, so I was one of those because of past President Obet, I was inspired to move around the chapters. Gawin mo yan, Darwin. Alam mo, when you move around the chapters, there are lots of organizations. Alam mo yung may malalaki, di ba? Yung mga cement factory, yung agricultural. Pero paano yung maliliit? Yung hotel, yung restaurant. You know, when I went around, when I was 2016 yan, say in Nueva Ecija, say in Iloilo, say in Butuan, they are really thirsting for knowledge. Kawawa po. Kasi may HR po yan. May HR yan. And mind you, Darwin, ang iba niyan, mas best pa ang practice kaysa sa atin. But
Agree.
they need confirmation and affirmation. PMAP is doing that. The HR group is doing that. And kasi, yun nga, uh, yung para bang upgrade, 'di ba? That actually ang Filipino world class naman talaga ang ginagawa natin. But I would like to share this with you. Kasi yesterday I was invited to a webinar para sa education, and I was talking about uh, emotional intelligence, and then I get it from Congressman Mark. The problem with, say, teachers, especially in the tertiary, sa ibang countries, they do research, and what they teach is actually research. Siguro madala po rin natin. Can you do that also in your association? And I will inform Lynn Muki and Loy in PMAP na yung we do our own research and then we practice that. I know some are already doing it. In the BPO, you're already doing it. You have programs that are really innovative and really Filipino. Pero dapat dapat what do you call this? Perfect it and then promote it. Ang mahirap kasi sometimes you don't promote it eh. So that na hindi tuloy nalalaman. Gaya ba ng ating yung ano nga yung sa ating yung sympathy, yung empathy, yung pakikisa, no. What is the term for that? That's a
Malasakit.
Philip.
Malasakit.
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 Malasakit should be promoted already. Can you do that? Kasi bakit yung Kaizen na promote ng Japan pero malasakit kapwa management? Di ba kapwa management of dapat na-promote. There are what you call this HR concepts that are really Filipino and the world can really di ba? Pwede
Learn from it.
magamit ng mundo. Welcome it.
Agree on that.
Okay, Darwin, nag-overtime na tayo. Kaya, babalik ka rito. Okay,
Of course, Sir
uh,
Jess.
Darwin, can you give us your message before we thank you? Sige.
Okay, I think my final message is I would like to share to you a quote coming from Craig Lonsbro, and this is really apt for this particular situation right now in times of pandemic. And sabi niya, if all that we see are the scattered pieces of what was, the story of what is yet to be will never be told. If, however, we are able to envision the pieces as what they are now, free to be, the story of what is yet to be will stand among the greatest story ever told. Meaning, dapat as an HR professional, as people leaders, wag lang tayong nakafocus sa problema. Dapat nakafocus tayo sa ano pa ba sa solusyon. Kasi 'di ba, ang sabi ko nga from the start, we are in a VUCA situation. But VUCA in general can be resolved. There are a lot of ways for you, and the best thing is having a solutions mindset. I think that's one thing that I would like to highlight. In every crisis, in every problems, having a solutions mindset for HR professionals, for people leaders is very important. And I challenge you all to have those solution mindset in place, not only in your department but also in your life. Thank you, Sir Jess.
Wow. Thank you very much, Darwin. Wow! Ang ganda ng kanyang parting message. Yes, yes. We must have that mindset. Visionaries. Ito nga, yung kay executive producer Lloyd Luna. See the big picture. An HR person, kahit na po ikaw ay a staff, an analyst, a specialist, the HR supervisor, the HR manager, you must see the big picture. And you must be a team. You must be a team because you're the ones taking care of people. You must be cohesive. You must be united. The most that you must have, you must use your utmost emotional intelligence, your awareness, your motivation, your relationship management. Be a team because you are providing, you're the one taking care. Of course, you have to look to yourselves also. You have to, at first, take care of yourself. Sinabi ng ating special guest, leadership. Yes, the emotional contagion. The way you smile, the way you smirk, your eyebrows, if it meets or if it is peaceful, it has an effect because you are on the screen. You're on the screen and you are recorded. People can go back to it. Oh, see, he was smirking at me. The emotional contagion is very important. So HR here has two meaning. HR as the human resource department and HR as the human resource, the people in the organization. First, it rests. It is nested in the individual. It is nested in the HR group, in the HR team. You have to be cohesive, you have to be unified, you must think of your purpose because you will influence, you will be contagious, you will infect people of that teamwork mentality. You have titingalain kayo. So, my message for this wonderful topic is that HR, let's make sure we are a team so that our organization also will be a big team working for what is expected for us to do, the objectives, the goals, the vision, and the mission of our company. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Jesse Francis Rebustillo, the host of HR Hotline. Just marvelous